How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you've all had a very happy holiday season, whatever you celebrate. It's 2021 and I'm actually back with some boss guides for Castle Nathria in heroic and normal difficulty. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded, apologies for that, but since the beta the game's actually come out, I've really been enjoying tanking this expansion, especially in this raid. So let's kick off these raid guides with the first boss in the entire raid, Shriekwing. So this is a two-phased encounter, and the first phase is really easy and the second phase is really easy as a tank. You want to start off by pulling the boss towards the first set of pillars that he's closest to when he spawns. So you pull him towards those pillars and you have the DPS and the healers stacked behind him in a nice neat line for a mechanic that we'll talk about a little bit later on. So the main mechanic that we have to deal with as a tank in phase 1 is Exsanguinating Bite. And this applies a 10 stat debuff reducing healing by 10% per stack, taunt swap on cast, and the stacks remove every 1.5 seconds. So as the actual dots tick, not dot, but the debuff is ticking, it's getting weaker every 1.5 seconds. So as long as you're taunting off each other every time this goes out, you should be fine, because you just don't want the boss hitting you while you're not really taking much healing, especially in the early stages of this debuff. You really need to be snappy on those taunts, especially if it's your first time. So moving on from that, we actually have a mechanic that's for everybody to take care of, but tanks, this includes us as well, and it's called Ear Splitting Shriek. And this hits for a fairly large amount of damage and leaves behind a ticking debuff for 12 seconds. And every 2 seconds the damage will prop basically, and if you are hit by this Ear Splitting Shriek, it will spawn a pool under where you are hit. So you want no pools if you could help it. Like, the less pools in this fight, the cleaner it's going to be. You are going to get some unavoidable ones, but the ones that we should be line of sighting definitely should be LOS'd, because you just don't want any mess in the encounter zone basically. So yeah, make sure you line of sight that when you're told to line of sight it, and don't go peeking around the corner try to get a last minute judgment or something there if you're a paladin like I do. So after that, we all have to deal with a mechanic as well called Echoing Screech, which is why we have the boss tanked in a certain position next to the pillars and everyone else stacked behind the boss, because the boss is basically going to be baited into Echoing Screech and he's going to aim it to the back of the room. And what this does is it sends out little waves, like little sort of location finders, and if you are hit by one of these, the sanguine pool is going to spawn underneath you. You probably guessed it by now, a lot of spawning sanguine pools on this fight. So what you do when this happens is you just take the boss from where you're tanking him initially and you take him to the middle of the room, so in between all 4 of the pillars. And shortly after that you'll probably deal with the first Ear Splitting Shriek. So yeah, just make sure that you're in a good position to LOS not long after, and just make sure that you're not anywhere where the echoes can actually hit you. If you stood in the middle of the room, you should be perfectly safe and it shouldn't even be a problem. Phase 2, the boss enters a Blood Shroud. Just don't go near the boss, don't risk it, it's not worth it. You don't do any damage to him. You just want to kind of stay away from it and look out for your Ear Splitting Shriek basically, because he'll still cast it in this phase. But the entire premise of this phase is to dodge the echoes that are all over the floor, which you'll see on the screen, and to make sure that you are always LOS'd when the boss casts Ear Splitting Shriek. If you do this, you will get through this no problem, and you'll go straight back to phase 1, where all you have to do is what I said before. It's a rinse and repeat fight. You can probably even one phase it by this point. Completely dependent on the capabilities of your raid team. But anyway, that's been the guide for Shriekwing on heroic and normal difficulty, guys. If it's helped or you enjoyed the guide, then please do leave a like or maybe even subscribe. There's going to be more going up over the next few days especially, and I'm going to be starting to live stream a lot more as well. You'll see the link down in the description, and hopefully we can start pushing some mythic progress and stuff as well soon. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Take it easy, have a good day, bye now.